Get ready.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Play to Win podcast, a show where we break down weekly gaming news through in-depth discussion. My name is Keiran and I'm of course joined by Tyler, my co-host. Tyler, how are you doing?
Keiran, man, I'm doing well. It's been a long week. I've had a lot to do this week, and I still got a lot to do. Like even after we finish recording today, gotta make a few store runs, and then I gotta work on something else. It's gonna be a busy day. Let me tell you that much. But I'm excited. I'm doing well, doing very well, because also tomorrow, as of today, as recording, it'll be tomorrow. But when the episode goes live, it will have been yesterday, Sunday. Mm-hmm. Kingdom Hearts 2 15th anniversary.
Okay.
Gotta put the shirt on,
Yeah.
So gotta represent that. Gotta give one of my favorite games of all time a shout out. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited at the end of this very long, busy week.
Awesome. Yeah. I still haven't played Kingdom Hearts. I should probably get around to that at some point, actually.
Aren't they on Game Pass?
I think so. I know 3 is, and then I think was it 2.8 or something? I don't know.
There's 1.5, 2.5, 2.8, and 3.
Okay, because I don't think 2 is on. So are 2 and 2.5 and 2.8 different?
No, so 1.5 is the collection of Kingdom Hearts 1, Chain of Memories, and then 358 over 2 days. 2.5 is the collection of Kingdom Hearts 2, Birth by Sleep, and Coded.
Okay.
2.8 is a collection with Dream Drop Distance, 0.2, and then Key Back Cover. And then there's 3.
Okay.
So basically, if you're going to do them in order.
Okay.
You go 0.5, and then when you start it up, it has them listed vertically in the order you should do them. So there is no way to get confused in any way, shape, or form. I promise you that. If you just go if you go in order the way they have it, you will be fine.
Okay, that's good to know, because I saw they were on Game Pass, but I didn't want to play because I didn't know that 1.5 was just one with other stuff in it. So I was like, well, I don't want to play that, and if I'm not able to play 1, but
yeah, it's just 1.5, 2.5, and 2.8. It's just HD remaster collection of the older games.
Okay, then I have no excuse to not hop into that at some point then.
You honestly don't.
No. Anyway, this is the Play to Win podcast. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Play to Win Game. That's the handle for the social media. I totally didn't forget. Also, remember to subscribe to us here on YouTube. We upload videos every Monday and Friday, Monday being the podcast, Friday being another video from one of us. If you go and look at the channel now, Tyler uploaded his video on the recent Dying Light 2 dev update, which you can go and watch. It's a very good video. Check out.
Thank you.
And yeah, remember to subscribe and tick the notification bell so you know when new videos go up. However, in episode 2 of the podcast, we are going to be talking about everything announced at the Xbox Indie event, which was yesterday. Microsoft potentially acquiring Discord for over $10 billion, which is a lot of money.
It is.
And the setting for 2021's Call of Duty is apparently rumored. And then we talk about physical games versus digital games. Before that, however, we do have a couple of brief mentions to get to. Number 1 being that Xbox Live has been rebranded to Xbox Network, which is interesting. That's an interesting name choice, Xbox Network. But reading from an article written by Tom Warren for The Verge, saying, quote, Microsoft is rebranding Xbox Live to Xbox Network. Instances of the new branding started appearing in the Xbox dashboard recently for beta testers, with clips being uploaded to Xbox Network instead of Xbox Live. Microsoft has now confirmed the name change. Xbox Network refers to the underlying Xbox Online service, which was updated in the Microsoft Services Agreement, says a Microsoft spokesperson in a statement to The Verge. The update from Xbox Live to Xbox Network is intended to distinguish the underlying service from Xbox Live Gold memberships. End quote. So, I mean, the reason I have this as a brief mention and not a full story is it's just, I don't think it's like hugely important. They're not changing the service in any major way because of this rebrand. It's basically just to change the name of the service itself rather than the membership that you buy.
Yeah, it's an interesting name change. Like you said, they're just Xbox Network doesn't roll off the tongue like Xbox Live. It doesn't sound as good as Xbox Live, and it doesn't have the history and legacy that Xbox Live does, which is why this name change just seems so weird and just out of nowhere. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it makes sense. They're making Xbox a whole ecosystem. They're branching Xbox out for more than just a console. So saying, hey, Xbox Network is the entire Xbox Online service, the whole online infrastructure, and Xbox Live is just a part of it. It makes sense. You know, Xbox Live has not gone anywhere.
No,
it's still there.
Yeah.
It's just under a large umbrella now.
Yeah, so basically you buy an Xbox Live Gold subscription under the Xbox Network is the easiest way I can put it.
Yep.
Sticking in the realm of somewhat Xbox Live Gold, actually, you will not require Gold to use party chat or play free-to-play games. Microsoft is now allowing things like this in beta tests. They had announced this when they kind of did their whole, we're going to double the price of Gold for no reason, and then very quickly backtracked on that because everyone was like, oh, no, you're not. So they announced this when they backtracked on that and said, instead, we're going to use what we've learned and improve the service for people who are subscribed to it. So reading from a GameSpot article written by I'm going to butcher this name, Eddie Makuch.
That's what I thought it was supposed to be pronounced. That's what I thought. So I'm going to say you're right on this.
Awesome. Saying, quote, fulfilling a promise it made earlier this year, Microsoft has now done away with the Xbox Live Gold requirement for free-to-play games on Xbox. Right now, this is available to members of the free Xbox Insider program, but it should roll out for everyone at some point in the future. Xbox Live Gold will no longer be required to play free-to-play games like Fortnite, Apex Legends, and Call of Duty Warzone. Similarly, you will no longer need Xbox Gold for party chat and looking for groups. Microsoft is testing this change before rolling out for everyone later on. End quote. So yeah, it's good that they're updating the service like this. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you haven't needed PlayStation Plus to play free-to-play games for quite a while.
No, you have not. I don't know if you ever needed PlayStation Plus to play free-to-play games. Because, I mean, free-to-play games, did they start to pop up near the end of the PS3 generation? Near the end of it? I think they did.
I think so.
So, like, I don't know if you ever needed PlayStation Plus for it. Because, I mean, back then in the PS3 generation, you didn't need PlayStation Plus, period, to play online games. You just needed a PSN account. PS4 is when you needed Plus to play online. But I don't think you ever needed Plus to play free-to-play games.
Okay.
As far as I recall. I've always had Plus, though, and I never really played free-to-play games. But I don't think it was ever required.
Yeah, I very quickly Googled it. Warframe released on the 25th of March 2013. So towards the end of the PS3, Xbox 360 generation, I think Warframe was one of the first, like, biggest free-to-play games that came out. So I would assume you're correct in saying they started coming out in, like, towards the end of the PS3 360 generation.
Yeah. Although there was DC Universe Online. That was free to play for sure. I know that. Because I remember downloading it on my PS3 for a bit and playing it for all of, like, 2 days and then not playing it anymore. But that was free to play for sure when it first came out. At least on the PS3, it was.
Yeah, which came out on the 11th of January 2011. So
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, free-to-play games have been around for a while, and by the success of them recently, I don't think they're going anywhere.
Nope. But yeah, that's a good change.
Yeah.
You know, about time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, although, this does beg the question now, like, what's the point if I'm an Xbox Live Gold? Games with Gold is not great. Now you really only need it to play games that don't have, like, a free-to-play section to them. Because I know Halo Infinite's multiplayer is going to be free. You don't need an Xbox Live Gold subscription to play that. So I don't really see the benefit of Gold anymore. I think they should just phase that service out.
Do you still need Gold to watch like online streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and stuff?
I don't know actually. Although to be honest, I don't know how many. Well, I was going to say I don't know how many people are using their Xbox for that because of like smart TVs and like set-top boxes and stuff can do that. But I imagine a fair few people use their Xbox to do that. So I actually don't know if you still need, or if you ever needed gold to do that actually.
I believe you did, because I remember I've read a lot of people talk about how like it was very annoying that you needed Xbox Live Gold to watch Netflix. I think they got rid of that though. I think they got rid of that some time ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think when it happened, I just missed that news entirely.
That's interesting actually. I never realized they did that because I don't use my Xbox to watch Netflix or anything. That's interesting.
I see.
Yes, very good changes coming to Xbox Live Gold very soon for everyone. If you are in the Xbox Insider program, then you should already have that update. If not, it should be coming very soon. I don't actually know if I have it yet. I'll have to check.
Oh, cool.
And our last brief mention of the episode, Ghost of Tsushima is getting its own movie from the director of John Wick. Reading from a Kotaku article written by Ian Walker saying, quote, Sony's developing a movie adaptation of last year's terribly decent Ghost of Tsushima, Deadline reports. John Wick franchise director Chad Stahelski is, you guessed it, directing. Assad... Oh, there's no way.
I'm going to assume that's supposed to be Assad Kizilbash.
Kizilbash, okay. I'm not great with names at the best of times, so I greatly apologize. Assad Kizilbash, head of PlayStation Productions, said, quote, We love working with creative partners like Chad who have a passion for our games, ensuring we can create rich adaptations that will excite our fans and new audiences, end quote. I know several people who Ghost of Tsushima is their favorite game ever now, and they are very happy this movie's getting made.
Yeah, terribly decent. Don't agree with that statement right there.
Yeah, I know.
But when I saw this news, I was like, okay, we're getting a movie. That I saw who was directing it. I was like, this could have some pretty good action behind it. I tweeted out, like, this is awesome. And if done well, this could actually be an amazing movie because the story is there to back it up. It's a great story. It's a great story. The world is fascinating. And like it has potential for some really cool action, especially, the guy from John Wick is doing it.
Yeah.
The action is, it should be awesome action. It should be framed really well and done really well. So if and when this actually comes out, I'm really hoping it's going to be good. I refuse to believe the Uncharted movie is actually coming out until I see a trailer for it.
Yeah.
I know they have filmed it, but until I see a trailer for it, I refuse to believe that movie's actually coming out. And we have the Last of Us TV show coming on HBO, which that has some nice power behind it, some star power. And you got Naughty Dog, actually they're working on it and everything.
Yeah.
So it seems like the film and TV side of things that Sony and PlayStation are doing, it looks like they're kind of being teed up to come out really well. The Uncharted thing is kind of to be seen, to be determined, because it's a prequel. I don't really know if that's all that necessary. But a Last of Us TV show, Ghost of Tsushima movie, I think we got something good here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Especially when you have Pedro Pascal as Joel. I'm all for that.
Yes, 100%.
That concludes our brief mentions for this week, so we're going to get on to our bigger news stories. The first of which being that yesterday Xbox held an indie event in partnership with Twitch, in which they showed off over 60 indie games, the event itself being something like 3.5 to 4 hours long, if I'm remembering correctly, which I didn't watch all of because that's a hell of a long time. That's almost as long as an episode of Critical Role. So I didn't.
Critical Role, how many times would you could have sit and watched this whole thing once?
No, I couldn't. Eventually, I was just like, okay, I'm kind of done with this event right now. If there's anything like big announced later, then I'll go and watch it.
Right.
But reading just a little bit from an IGN article written by Adam Backhurst saying, quote, Microsoft and Twitch presented the first Twitch Gaming Showcase ID Xbox event today, and the stream featured over 60 games. The announcement included everything from the reveal of Drinksbox Studios' new game Nobody Saves the World to a new look at 12 minutes and so much more. We gathered together all the best news from the show below, including the over 20 games that will be launching day one on Xbox Game Pass. I'm going to very quickly read that list. Yes. All of which are launching into Game Pass day one, which I'm going to make a point out of this afterwards, which is why I'm reading that list. Okay. So the 22 games that are releasing on Game Pass day one are Art of the Rally, Astria Ascending, Backbone, Boyfriend Dungeon, Craftopia, Dead Static Drive, Edge of Eternity, Hello Neighbor 2, Liberty of Runia?
Library of Runia.
Library of Runia, sorry.
Ruina.
Ruina. Yes, Ruina. Little Witch in the Woods, Moonglow Bay, Naruto Boy, Nobody Saves the World, Omno, Recompile, Sable, She Dreams Elsewhere, Stalker 2, The Ascent, Undungeon, Way to the Woods, Wild at Heart. So all of those games are launching into Game Pass day one. The point I wanted to make is Game Pass is a very, very good place to launch these games into because you get potentially millions of people who, one, don't have to buy the game so they can just play it, and if they don't like it, then they don't really mind. Or if they like it, it's been... I can't remember these figures off the top of my head, but they have said before that people are more likely to buy a game when it leaves Game Pass. So I assume that sales for these games will be higher because they are launching into Game Pass day one, even though they are launching into a service that is basically free games.
No, yeah, this is definitely great for all these games, 100%. I think I just hope that I hope that they drop on Game Pass at the right time.
Yeah.
Because you don't want, I imagine that obviously all these games are not going to drop at once.
No, I would assume not.
I imagine that multiple of them won't drop at the same time on Game Pass. I more so mean in terms of the larger gaming space.
Yeah.
You're not going to want Astria Ascending to drop on Game Pass the week that Final Fantasy 16 comes out. It's just not, I'm sorry. Granted, that's not on Xbox, but you kind of get what I mean. Or better yet, let me use a better comparison. Yeah. You wouldn't want Astria Ascending to drop on Game Pass the same week that, say, Halo Infinite comes out and drops on Game Pass. Actually Ascending, I'm sorry, is not going to get the attention.
No, of course not.
Of course they deserve. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of games, I just hope that they come at the right time. That way people can properly give them the eyes that they deserve.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was also going to put forward, you wouldn't want these games even the bigger ones like Stalker 2, or I suppose you could say Nobody Saves the World. You wouldn't want those games dropping the same week as Starfield goes into Game Pass. So yeah, it's good that they're coming to Game Pass because it's definitely a good way to get wider audiences to play these games. But you do want them to drop in at the time that is right and not, the same week as Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
I did want to briefly go over a few noteworthy games that I feel like were at this event. Number one is Nobody Saves the World from Drinkbox Studios. From the people who made Guacamelee 2, did you ever play Guacamelee?
I have not. I've heard a lot of things about it, and I've thought about playing it on occasion, but I just never have, because I'm just there's other games that I want to play and need to play, and it's one of those where I'm if I had the time, then sure, I'd be all about it. But it keeps getting pushed back.
Yeah, I've played Guacamelee 1. I haven't played 2 because I believe when that game came out, it was PlayStation exclusive. I think.
I forgot that it was at a time.
I believe it's on Xbox now, but when it came out, it was PlayStation exclusive, and I've just never gotten around to playing it. But I really, really enjoyed Guacamelee, and what they showed off yesterday of Nobody Saves the World, I'm very, very excited for this game. I'm very looking forward to it.
Yeah, I watched a trailer yesterday because I didn't watch any of the event. I was at work when it happened, so I definitely was not watching the whole 4 hours of this thing. And then when I came back home, I was I'm not sitting and watching 3.5, 4 hours of this just no time in the day for that. I was like, I'll just catch up on some of the highlights. So I watched this trailer and it looks cool. Also, I'm going to be honest, I kind of forgot what it even looked like because I watched it and then watched like 2 or 3 other things right after. It's been a whole 12, almost 24 hours since then.
Yeah.
But it looked cool. The concept of you go in and you do your thing and then you can change it to a different form and all. It looks like it's a fun game. It looks like it'll be fun. It's one that I will keep my eye on for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I really like the look of some of the forms you can take. The archer, especially, I really like the basically machine gun bow that you have when you're fighting stuff. That looks really cool.
Yeah.
Second up is Moonglow Bay, which I forget the name of the developer, but while I look for it, it's basically a really comfortable looking fishing game where you have to catch fish, but also everyone in the town is scared of fishing in a fishing village because there are weird creatures in the sea. There's a dog you can pet in this game, which is the number one thing. I was like, yes, please.
You can pet the dog.
Yes, I'll reading from that IGN article saying, quote, Moonglow Bay is a wholesome fishing RPG set along the 1980s Eastern Canadian coastline and features a playful, voxel art style and sumptuous soundtrack. You will play as a rookie angler who is looking to fulfill their partner's final wish. Moonglow Bay will feature over 100 aquatic species when it launches in 2021 on consoles. End quote. This is a really cute looking game. I'm actually looking forward to it quite a lot. It's one of those games, when I first saw it, I wasn't 100% sold on it. I was like, yeah, this looks a bit weird. I don't know if it's going to be my kind of thing. But then as they showed more and more and as they were talking about it, I was like, okay, how do I wishlist this game on Xbox?
Yeah, I actually did. I heard people talk about it a bit on Twitter. I didn't mention the name. I just heard people talking about a fishing RPG. It sounds like fun. I want to do that. It sounds so wholesome. So I actually didn't know anything about this game until literally just now. I'm just looking at the thumbnail here for the trailer on IGN's website, and I like the way it looks. The little art style it has. I want to pull up the trailer for it super quick myself, just to look at it right now.
Yeah.
And let's see. I'll skip ahead a bit. Oh, this looks so nice.
Yeah, it looks super good.
Yeah, it has like you said, the voxel art style with looks like a Minecraft aesthetic as well in terms of the actual characters and stuff. It looks like, I don't know if it's a game I would play, but it is very charming, and I can see that charm kind of winning me over.
Yeah.
I like this. This looks nice.
Yeah, no, it looks really, really good actually. The developer is Coatsink.
Coatsink, okay.
Sorry, no. The publisher is Coatsink. The developer is Bunny Hug. My apologies.
I love the names. I love the name.
Yeah, no, I watched the interview for the devs, and the two people they had on were just super cool people. I really enjoyed that interview.
Nice. This looks nice.
I wanted to give a very brief mention to a game called Loot River, which the easiest way I can describe it looks like violent Tetris. It's basically you play as some form of assassin, like plague doctor assassin by the looks of it. At least that's what I gather from the trailer. And the way you move around, you move onto different platforms that you can then move, and you have to arrange them in certain ways to solve puzzles. But there'll be
I think I saw footage of this, a GIF of this on Twitter.
Yeah, no, it looks really, really good. There's platforms you can get that have spikes on the end, which is why I say it's violent Tetris, because the way you arrange it, you might move a platform, there'll be enemies on it, and you can move the platform up and down and just put the spikes into them over and over again, and then go and solve it looks really, really interesting, and really violent.
Yeah, I'm watching the actual trailer for it now, and this seems like a really creative and fun.
Yeah, it does.
Game.
Yeah,
this looks really cool.
Yeah, no, it's definitely another one that I'm definitely gonna keep my eye on, because it looks super good. there's one that I saw very briefly that interested me. I think I only saw like 15 or 20 seconds of it. It's called Omno. The only thing I've seen of it is you were like running and flying through the sky, I'm pretty sure. But I really like the art style of this game. It looks really, really good.
Okay, I'm pulling up a little footage of it for myself right now. You can still move on to the next one if you don't have anything else to say about this.
No, that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to mention that I was interested in it. You have The Ascent, which is a top-down like dungeon crawler kind of game.
They first revealed it last year during their the third party event where they were like, hey, first look at Xbox Series X gameplay, and that kind of like fell flat.
Yeah. The Ascent looks super cool. I'm actually very interested in it. Like I said, it's like a top down. It looks like Halo Spartan Assault is what it reminds me of. It's that kind of game, but in this like futuristic cyberpunk like city, I'm pretty sure. But it looks super, super good. I'm really excited for The Ascent.
Yeah, like the game itself, I remember it last year when they showed it. I was like, okay, this looks cool. Like the environment, the aesthetic, the twin stick shooter-esque nature of the game from what it looked like. It seemed like it was cool. So I didn't watch the new footage, but it was nice, hearing that, okay, it popped back up. I definitely want to look at some more stuff of it. See, keep my eye on it at all.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Omno footage right now. Oh man, this game looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
This game looks really nice. I like the aesthetic of it.
Yeah, I'm very excited for Omno. Also, Hello Neighbor 2 was shown again in this kind of like indie dev event. I wanted to bring this up because they are doing something really, really cool in terms of AI.
What's that?
Basically, so the main enemy of the game is Mr. Peterson. You break into his house because there's rumors that he's like kidnapping people, as far as I'm aware. And the way the AI behaves is like it learns from each encounter. So like one encounter you might win and then it'll learn. So the next time you go and or the next time you interact with him, he'll like, instead of like going around a corner and chasing you giving you time to get through this door, instead of doing that, he'll pick something up and throw something at the button to close that door so that you can't escape. And the other thing is that you can interact with all of the villagers in the setting in the town. And all of them share the same AI core, so that when you interact with those villagers, it also improves the AI of Mr. Peterson. So it's really, really interesting what that game is doing in terms of like AI enemies.
Interesting. Yeah, because I never played the first one, but I remember when the first one came out, like the AI getting some praise, because like you kind of like you were saying, like the AI learns from what you were doing and all. And like if you might be able to like climb in a window one time, one run through. And then like if you win or lose that run through, the next one you do, they'll remember you went into the window, so they'll bar the window up, so you can't go into the window. You gotta like find a different way in and all like that. So I didn't know about this other stuff that they're doing where interacting with other people in the town will improve the AI of the neighbor and all like that. And it's really cool. I don't know if the first one, I mean, from what the gameplay I saw, the first one, it never seemed like a, I guess, thriller horror type game, but the first trailer for the second one definitely gave off that a more scary, sinister vibe. Did the new footage for this one kind of continue that on, make it seem more scary? Definitely. There were several instances in which like there's one that I can think of where like you're running through the house and you're almost out, you're getting to a ladder, and then the ladder starts getting pulled up and Mr. Peterson is up in the window, pulling up the ladder and throws outside and jumps into in through the window and comes at you. It definitely gives off a more like horror-esque kind of vibe. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, if this ever comes to PlayStation, maybe I'll play it. Or if I get a Series X at some point, hopefully I can do it this year. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know if it's exclusive to Xbox. I don't think so.
I mean, I know it's on PC too. Like the first one was on PC. I just don't know if the first Hello Neighbor is on PlayStation.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
recall
Okay.
seeing it in the store. So that's not to say the second one can't come to PlayStation.
Yeah.
It might not be a precedent for it.
Next up is Death's Door, which is it looks like a really, really cute but difficult, like, I don't know how to describe this game. I watched the trailer for it just before we started recording, which is why it's on here, because that game looks super, super interesting. You play as like a little bird with a really cool looking sword. I don't understand what like the story is. Like, are you some form of assassin and you have to go through? It kind of reminds me of Hades a little bit.
Yeah. So the trailer for it starts off like real comedic. It's like you're like this bird or the crow here, as IGN has here in the article. It's crow, like you're on a bus. I think you get off your bus, you get to your stop, you're like, hey, what's up? What's up, guys? And like the security guards like watches something. He's like, all right, walk on in, come on in. And like there's other crows just like hanging around, looking at you. And then you open a door and then you go through the door, and that's when it kind of turns into the actual game, shows the gameplay and stuff. Isometric view game, just like Hades action game. And like it showed the player character, the crow, just like engaging in combat with some enemies and all. And IGN's description here on their article says Death's Door is a fantasy action adventure that's set in a world where crows are in charge of reaping the souls of the dead. They have a headquarters called the Hall of Doors, and one of the crows, that's you, gets sent to a, quote, twisted place where nothing has died for several centuries, end quote. So it looks really cool. I liked the art style, and I liked just like the humor that it had in just like the very beginning of it. It gave me the right vibes. So I definitely want to keep my eye on this one. I think I might give this one a play when it comes out later on.
I'll most likely be picking this game up. I'm very quickly looked. Unfortunately, it's not one of the ones that's coming to Game Pass day one, which makes me kind of sad. But hey ho, I'll still probably buy that game. It looks really good. And the final one I have on the list is, it's not so much a game, but it's Stalker 2, but the lack of info we got of it. Like, there was almost a 6.5 minute dev diary about it, and there was like they showed off some of the like character models and stuff, and they showed off some of like the weapons, but they didn't show like a trailer or anything. It was just a guy talking for 6.5 minutes.
Huh. That's interesting.
So like they didn't
take your time making the game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Interesting that it was just like a dev diary.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's like I don't know. It struck me as weird that like every single other game in this event had like a trailer or gameplay and an interview, whereas this one was just kind of a dev diary. I don't know if this like super needed to be here, but on the other hand, better at here than at like E3.
Yeah. I mean, it also could have just been a thing where they just put out on their own. Didn't need to be here at the show. But, I guess I imagine, Xbox is like, hey, you're one of the bigger name indies that's coming out. So let's give you a platform here. Put your thing out here. I understand that. I understand it all. Yeah. But it is annoying that it just wasn't much info about the game that you guys got. I mean, I can't say I'm super invested in Stalker 2 because I've never played any of the other Stalker games. It's just I thought they might have shown a little bit more at this event, but apparently not. Yeah, I'm not invested in it at all, so.
Yeah. And one final thing, just in kind of relation to this whole Xbox Indie event, while I was watching it, I looked at the chat a couple of times, which I immediately regretted, because most people were like, oh, like indies suck, show us proper games. Xbox is trash, it has no games, only has indies. And I'm like, why is there such hate towards indie games? Like, without indie games, half of the AAA games we have now probably wouldn't exist. So I don't understand this whole like hate towards indie games, like not being proper games, or like they said beforehand that it's an indie event. They never once referred to this as anything other than an ID Xbox event, which is their indie program. So I don't understand why people were there expecting like, Halo Infinite or Hellblade 2 or anything Bethesda, because it's not going to happen. It's an indie event. I don't understand the whole like hate towards indie games, because I mean, AAA games, sure, you get some variety, but like you get a hell of a lot of variety in indie games. Like, I don't think there was one game shown in this whole event that was like remotely similar to another one.
Yeah, no, I imagine that some of the people that were saying those things were probably trolls, just like feeding fire.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
But no, yeah, I never understand the hate towards indies, especially in this case, because it has been marketed as an indie event. It's ID at Xbox. Yeah. We know what this is. I don't know why you go in expecting something that's not going to be there. It's clearly not going to be there. But I mean, I even feel like, the same way whenever there's a state of play and there's, some indie games there and people are like, oh man, this state of play was trash. I'm just like, you guys can't go into every event expecting big name and big just blockbuster announcements every single time. That's not going to happen. Yeah. It's not going to happen. And there are going to be indie games at these events. And some of these indie games look better than the big name AAA games. Or, they might just actually, even if they're not, they don't end up better. They'll catch the attention, catch the eye of someone. They might just generally look more interesting. So there's nothing wrong with indies. It's a thing of people still looking at indies, as you said, as like, I don't want to say not real games, but lesser games than AAA games. And because they're lesser games than AAA games in their eyes, it's like, why is this getting so much attention? Why are we hearing so much about this and not so much about Resident Evil 8 or not so much about Elder Scrolls? Like those are real games. These aren't real games. These are just like kiddie games and stuff. And it's a really silly mindset for people to have.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this yesterday. Like my like top 3 favorite games of all time up until like a year and a half ago were all AAA games, and now they're all indies, because indie games are like I say, I'm very rarely surprised by AAA games, because there's so much shown off about them. They're so hyped. They're so like in the eye of everyone. Whereas indie games, I'll play one, I'm like, I've never heard before. I'll be like, wow, this is actually really good. So, yeah, I mean, I don't understand it. I don't understand why there's so much hate towards these, like I mean, like you say, I guess in their eyes, they're lesser games, which they absolutely are not.
Right. I got a question real quick before we move on from this. Mm-hmm. You said that you watched about 2.5 hours of this. You didn't watch the entire thing.
Yeah.
But do you think that this could have been done better? Because I read on Twitter that normally at, I believe, GDC or some event that happens around this time of the year, normally Xbox, Microsoft, they would have a section at their booth or a booth where they have a bunch of indie games and people can come and play them and all like that. And that this event is basically filling that time's space, filling that void, since obviously, there's no in-person events and all like that. Which makes sense. And understand, all right, we still want to give them a platform. Let's put on this big event, this big hours-long event, being able to showcase all these different games and also promote Game Pass at the same time. Yeah. But do you think that this could have been done differently? Like, do you think it could have been shorter, or it could have been an event that's spread out over the course of like 3 days? So like one day we're going to show these couple games. It'll run about 40 minutes or an hour. Then the next day we'll show a couple more games that'll run this amount of time. Then the next day we'll show these games that'll run this amount of time. Do you think that might have worked better, or do you think that might have just kind of exacerbated things some? Because I mean, in a 3 to 4 hour show, say a person's looking forward to seeing 12 minutes and The Ascent. I don't know where they were in the actual placement of the show, but let's say for this example, they're looking forward to seeing those games, and they are not until hour 3. Yeah, and they're from hour 1, and it's just like they're sitting there waiting forever to see a game, and it's like it's just at a certain point you clock out. Oh yeah. On top of that, when it's an event that's this long and you have this onslaught of, just as I said, about 60 indie games just in an onslaught back to back to back, with sure some interviews interspersed between and all like that. But in it almost like that, like after a while, like you just gotta. I imagine if someone just clocks out, they're like, "All right, I'm done. I can't keep sitting here watching this anymore. I'm done." And the games all start to blur together. You start to forget about what you saw that was cool at the beginning of it and everything like that. You get what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think this would have gone a lot better if they'd split it up into like 3 events that had 20 games each or something, and then said at the beginning, okay, this week we're going to show you like a bunch of new games you haven't seen before, and then we're going to go into a deep dive on the Ascent, and then we're going to go into a developer interview on Hello Neighbor 2 or something, and then like a week, like the day after or a week after, or however they wanted to structure it, they could have said, okay, this week we're going to show you a bunch of games that you've never seen before, and go into a deep dive on Death's Door and a deep dive into Nobody Saves the World. I think that would have been a better format for this event, because I mean, like you say, I only watched 2.5 hours of it, because afterwards I'm like, I'm done. I can't watch any more of this. Like, if they announce anything super important, I'll go back and like watch the rest of it, or watch like something they upload to their YouTube channel later on. But right now, I have things I need to do. I can't dedicate any more time to this.
Yeah. And again, like 2.5 hours, again, that's still a long time.
Yeah.
Like that's the length of movies. That's the length of Batman versus Superman, the original.
Yeah.
Like that's the length of Infinity War. And that's a long time period. But that's also a long time to watch an event that's solely indie games.
Yeah.
Because I hate to say this, but going back towards people's perception of indie games as being lesser games than AAA games. So to have an event that's this long, it's just those games, it's a hard sell on its own.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's going to be really difficult to keep people's attention for 3 hours or so when it's only indie games. Like you gotta do it a different way.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I will say it was kind of nice. I checked the chat just before I left, and there was some considerably less trolls than there were at the start. So I think it kind of weeded most about towards like the hour mark. But yeah, but no, like definitely, it was fairly exhausting watching like game after game after game after game. However, I think that is going to conclude our discussion surrounding the Xbox Indie event. Unless you have anything else you would like to add, Tyler.
No, I mean, I didn't watch it, but the things that you mentioned here seem like some of the highlights. I do want to go back and kind of read up on some of the other games that were there, see other things that might catch my eye, things for me to keep my eye on in the future and all like that. But it's awesome that they're still, highlighting indies the way that they are over there at Microsoft. So good on them. Next,
we are going to move on to our second story, which is that Microsoft apparently is in... Next, we're going to move on to our second story, which is apparently Microsoft is in talks to acquire Discord for over $10 billion. That's a fair chunk of change. In an IGN article written by Jordan Alleman saying, quote, Microsoft is reportedly in exclusive talks to acquire Discord, and the deal could be completed as soon as next month. A report from the Wall Street Journal, citing people familiar with the matter, has been backed up by a Bloomberg report from earlier this week, which said that Microsoft was in talks to purchase Discord for $10 billion or more, and the Xbox boss Phil Spencer was part of the discussion. Microsoft and Discord are in exclusive talks and could complete a deal next month, assuming the negotiations don't fall apart, the article says. It also points out that the acquisition is apparently tied to Microsoft hoping to reach more consumers across both gaming and social networking. A similar drive saw Microsoft pursue an abandoned acquisition of TikTok last year, end quote. It'd be very interesting if they spent more than they spent on Bethesda on Discord. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could absolutely see them because Discord is like extremely widely used for like party chats or video calls or like public servers for video games and stuff. So I can see Discord heavily integrating with the Xbox ecosystem. Like they could basically rip Xbox Live Gold out and basically restructure. But sorry, no, not Xbox Live Gold. Like the infrastructure for like party chats and messaging and everything, and use Discord's infrastructure for that as well, because Discord is extremely well used. It's very well received as well. Like I've never really had many issues with Discord in terms of like speed. Like I mean, we used it for 25 weeks making the Games and Gaming podcast. That's what we used to record the audio. So like it's a very smart move if they do manage to pull this off. I also don't, how do I want to phrase this? I wonder how often Microsoft is going to be making these $1 billion deals, because they announced the Bethesda one in September last year, and they closed it this month. Yeah. And now they are apparently going to be spending another $10 billion next year. So, sorry, next month. My brain right now. Next month. So yeah, I'm wondering how often they're going to be making these $1 billion deals.
I imagine that we will see them do more deals like this for the foreseeable future. I don't know how long. If I were to guess, I would say that we can expect more deals like this until probably maybe 2022. Well, that's next year. My bad. Let me say 2023, because I was thinking 2 years from now. 2023.
Okay.
And the reason I say this is because Microsoft, they spent a couple years, the past few years, buying more studios. Granted, at way cheaper prices than $1 billion prices.
Yeah.
But buying studios to build up the Xbox brand. Then they spent $7.5 billion on Bethesda. Major investment. Now they're buying Discord. Now, granted, the Discord thing isn't solely for Xbox.
No.
It's a Microsoft as a whole thing. It can just help out in the Xbox side of things for sure. And I'm sure that was also a big consideration when they made the deal, thinking about ways in which it could benefit the Xbox ecosystem and add more value to whatever they plan to do over there. So I would not be surprised if we see them announce another big deal later this year, maybe, and then another big one next year. I don't know if we could see another one in 2023, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to 2023 as a way to start off the generation saying, hey, we're making these big purchases that we have long-term plans for.
So by what was the question I was going to ask you? So by like big deals, do you think that that's more like acquiring things, or do you think that could be something like them bringing Ubisoft's service to Game Pass? Because I imagine that would be a fairly substantial deal that they made. Not buying Ubisoft, just bringing their Ubisoft Plus service to Game Pass.
I mean, I was thinking strictly in terms of like giant $1 billion deals. I was thinking like acquisitions. But I mean, if you want to break it down smaller than that, then for sure, like you're bringing more things to their service, 100%.
Yeah.
Those deals, while not $1 billion deals, those deals are also those deals also cost a fair chunk of change. Like I imagine bringing EA Play to Game Pass Ultimate cost Microsoft a fair amount of money. Probably not, in the billions, but I imagine, sorry, my eyes have just been itching a bunch. I imagine it cost them a fair amount of money to make that deal with EA for EA Play. So, and I'm sure Ubisoft's might end up being more considering the IPs that Ubisoft has,
I would imagine so. Yeah.
and like their output and stuff, and like how much money those games cost to make and how much money those games do make, I would imagine a deal for Ubisoft service would cost more money. So yeah, like that's definitely what I mean. I can see them slowing down these deals, or maybe us getting a stop to the deals for quite some time by 2023, because by then we will have been at that point 3 years into the generation, so by then Microsoft could afford to slow down, pump the brakes on breaking out their wallet, and you would imagine they would have built up a nice solid foundation or structure or foothold or whatever in the generation for Xbox, and they wouldn't need to go too hard on bringing more things to their service. Now, that's not to say they're not going to. I mean, Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate, they're going to constantly want to bring value to those services and the Xbox brand as a whole. So they'll still keep going, but I think it will be smaller things, in the grand scheme of things by that point in time.
No, I agree. I mean, they definitely can't keep doing these $1 billion deals forever. They only have a finite amount of money. Even if that finite amount of money is like $1 trillion. So, yeah, they're going to put a stop to them at some point, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I think they're going to want to bolster as many parts of their company by spending money as they possibly can before they stop.
Going back to the Discord thing though, and it like being integrated into Xbox and all, I can see a future like where you said how they kind of scrap what their current infrastructure is, or maybe not even scrap it, but like enhance it with whatever Discord's infrastructure is, or even making it an option where like you can use Discord for your voice chat. Like you don't have to use Xbox Live for your voice chat. You can use Discord.
Yeah.
But I can see a future where they say, hey, they make it so that you can directly send game invites to Discord, like to your Discord servers or communities through your console. Because Xbox is all about gaming, making gaming easier for everybody, convenience, make community with gaming and all like that. And Discord has huge communities for gaming, and even just outside of gaming as well. So if you can be on your console and have your Discord servers on there and say, hey, I want to send an invite to this server or this person on the server, you can do that. Like that, I can see them easily doing something like that, especially in a world where crossplay is a thing.
Yeah. I did have a very interesting idea just how you could have an xCloud integration into Game Pass. Into Discord. So like basically from the Discord app on your PC or your phone or your Xbox, or I mean theoretically your PlayStation, if they were to put that like Discord on PlayStation, if it's not there already, I don't know.
It's not there.
Okay. But yeah, you could theoretically have an xCloud implementation in within Discord itself.
What do you mean? Like when in Discord you can play games through it on there?
Like so basically you would have like a button or something within the Discord app that you could click, and it would bring up the library of games, and you could just click and play from there.
Huh. Interesting idea, but wouldn't that be wouldn't that be very different? Because wouldn't that be like, it's hard for me to wrap my head around a game streaming service being implemented into a chat service.
Well, I mean,
you get what I mean?
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I'm just thinking of ways that Microsoft would integrate different things into Discord.
Like I can see them having it where I can see them doing this, having Discord be a perk of some sort, having Discord perks if you're a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber.
Yeah, so you already have that.
Then that's already a thing?
Yeah, you get 3 months of Discord Nitro if you are a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber.
See, I didn't realize that. So maybe making it more.
Yeah.
more or giving other perks of some sort. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Or I mean, just to have be like, you get a Discord Nitro subscription included in Game Pass Ultimate.
Right. Or maybe even I'm trying to think of how the xCloud thing can work, and I don't think it could. Just because the services are very different. It's not the same as saying, okay, you go to xCloud browser on your phone and pull it up. It having xCloud integrated into the chat app, into a communications service, a communications app.
Yeah.
Just it does not seem like it would work, because it just doesn't mesh in my head.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just thinking of ways that you could implement that service. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that they can't do it. They could do anything, really.
Yeah.
It just doesn't mesh in my head.
Okay. Is that everything we have to say on Discord?
I think so. I mean, I know some people were kind of worried, like, oh man, don't do anything to Discord if you do this. Some people were kind of worried.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, Teams isn't the best. They were worried about how maybe Discord going the route of Skype after Microsoft bought Skype, which was a thing I didn't realize happened. So they was kind of hoping that Discord doesn't go down the drain after this.
Yeah.
I didn't realize these were concerns or worries that, in regards to Microsoft, but I just hope that, it's a deal that goes well and is fruitful for everybody.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing. I hope they take the same approach to this as they do when they're buying a game studio, where it's like, we're just gonna let you do your thing, but we want to like implement your systems and we want to use you to improve us. Moving on from Discord, the final story we have this week is that the setting for the 2021 Call of Duty has reportedly been rumored. Call of Duty, apparently this year's Call of Duty is going to be Call of Duty World War II Vanguard. Reading from a Eurogamer article written by Wesley Yinpool, saying, quote, this year's Call of Duty returns to World War II according to fresh reports, in part verified by Eurogamer. Verified by you. I don't know if these glasses are helping or not. Modern Warzone reported this year's new Call of Duty is in development at Sledgehammer Games, makers of 2017's well-received Call of Duty World War II, and is due out in late 2021. Eurogamer sources have indicated this is indeed true. End quote. I'm so done with this setting. I really want to go back to the future, like not even like futuristic, just like modern day or futuristic Call of Duty and Battlefield. I'm just not a fan of World War II, World War I setting.
See, I feel mixed things about this. I think that I would prefer not to go back to World War II, because when 2017's World War II it came at a point where people in the series were done with the future stuff.
Yeah.
And Modern Warfare was a few years out. And so it was like, all right, let's reset. And at that time, people were also really clamoring for World War II shooters. We had Battlefield 1 come out shortly before that, if not the same year. And then Battlefield 5 came out a few years afterwards. And, both of those World War I, World War II shooters, it came at a time when people were really clamoring for that. People were kind of like over futuristic shooters. So when it came out, people liked it. Although like the multiplayer had issues for a bit. And then it had like a great, like, I don't want to say ground up retooling, but it got really retooled shortly after it came out. Well, not shortly, a couple months after it came out, it got retooled, and then multiplayer was better and all. But I kind of fell off this one. Like the story was fine to me. And then the multiplayer, I was with it for a bit, but then I fell off the multiplayer too, because I was like, it has some interesting ideas. Like I liked the war mode that they had in it, where it's kind of tough to describe, but it was a nice mode that they had where you're just kind of like one side is pushing, one side is attacking, one side is defending, in a way. If you want to think of it like Overwatch attack defend, it was kind of sort of like that, except Call of Duty-fied. And it was fun. I liked that mode. Didn't run a whole lot of maps for it, but I liked it. It was really cool. But at the same time, I'm happy with the Modern Warfare setting. I like it. And I wish we could go back to the futuristic setting. Like I really liked Infinite Warfare. I wasn't that big a fan of the multiplayer just because for the different issues it had, but I liked the story. I liked the setting. Black Ops 3, Black Ops 3, I played so much. I might have hit like 9th prestige in Black Ops 3, doing the wall running and the jumping. I played that game so much back in college. It was a lot of fun. Advanced Warfare was cool. I didn't really stick with the multiplayer on that one that much though. So I like the futuristic stuff, but a lot of Call of Duty fans, which is crazy, were clamoring for the series to make a major change. We got futuristic stuff with Advanced Warfare, and then we got Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare. And by the time we got to Infinite Warfare, people hated futuristic stuff and they didn't want it anymore. And that game got unnecessary hate. So because of that, it's like Sledgehammer's between a rock and a hard place. It's like, do we do a modern day shooter? Do we do a World War II shooter? Do we do a historical shooter that's more modern than World War II, but is it the same time frame as Black Ops Cold War? We can't go to the future because people are going to hate that. But that would be so cool if they did, you know? So they're stuck in a really weird place. The franchise is stuck in a really weird place. And I feel like what's going to end up happening with Call of Duty is exactly what happened to it before Advanced Warfare came out, which is going to be, we're going to get a lot of games in the same time periods, and people are going to get tired of it and want something new. We're going to get the new thing, and then people are going to hate it, and then it's going to be like, all right, we cannot do that again.
No, 100%. Infinite Warfare did get unnecessary hate that game definitely did deserve, because it was a good game. I really enjoyed that Call of Duty. Modern Warfare is hands down my favorite Call of Duty campaign I've ever played. So I really want more games in that time frame from like that story. I really want more of that, but I really, really, really don't want them to go back to World War II again. It's at this point, I want them to do something different. I want them to go like way in the future would be my ideal one, because they've gone like slightly in the future, sure. They haven't gone like a couple of 100 years. So that's what I would love to see them do.
Well, when was Infinite Warfare? Infinite Warfare had them all in space. They had like full on space fleet, space armadas. They had like outposts on different planets and stuff like that. That had to be a few like
maybe actually.
I don't remember exactly the time for that, but like laser weapons were fighting out in space. We got space jets. That was definitely like at least a century or two in the future.
I think I've forgotten a lot of what that game had. It's been like, to be fair, it's been years since I played that game. Like I never play Call of Duties longer than their like 1 year life cycle. Except Modern Warfare, I still occasionally hop on that, but most of the time it's just 1 year, I'm done, move on to the next one.
This I would prefer it not be World War II. I understand why it is in as a World War II shooter, just because of the reasons I broke down. My bigger concern with this game is I'm worried about the reception it's going to receive, because it's World War II. I'm worried about how that's even going to compete against Battlefield later on this year, which is rumored to be modern day shooter. And, that's DICE and EA's used to be the golden child. That's DICE's premier franchise. It needs to return to form in a way. So this year, hopefully that ends up being the return to form. And if it is, how is Call of Duty? I mean, Call of Duty is going to compete because it just sells gangbusters every single year. But like, on a base level, how is it going to compete against Battlefield 6, let's call it, in the modern day with all crazy destruction and stuff like that? Going back to World War II, this game is not going to sell that as well as past Call of Duty as well. I can almost guarantee you that, because of the setting, because of just the landscape and everything, it's not going to. And I wish it was a different setting, but I'll still play this. I'll still give it a shot. I might not stick with it though. And there's also the fact that Sledgehammer, they were supposed to make last year's Call of Duty. but and there were development troubles going on behind the scenes. It was them and Raven, and there were development troubles behind the scenes. So then Sledgehammer kind of got booted off the project. Raven ended up taking over the campaign. Treyarch came in to step in and did the multiplayer, which is why we have Black Ops Cold War.
Yeah.
But last year was supposed to be Sledgehammer's year. So I don't know what went on over there. I'm hoping that development for this game has been fine, since they're apparently the lead studio. They're the only studio on this one. I mean, or at least taking the lead on it. So here's to hoping that, development for it has been fine and that it comes out well and that it's a good game. But yeah, I'm not all that excited about this news.
No, me neither. I usually buy Call of Duty every year. I didn't last year because there were other games I wanted to buy over Call of Duty. But if this comes out and it's another World War II game, I'm not picking it up. I'm not doing it. I will happily opt for Battlefield 6 because of the things I've heard of about that game so far. Just real quick, it's been rumored that it's being revealed in May. It's not confirmed, and that it will have like fully destructible cities, which I am all for. That would be insanely awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to whatever Battlefield 6 ends up being. I actually had Battlefield 3. I played it for a little bit. I didn't stick with it too hard though, but I did like it. And I've always thought Battlefield was really cool, just the crazy destruction they have and all. Just whenever I played one, like the class system that they had never really gelled with me and all like that.
Yeah.
But I would definitely be willing to give the next one a shot, especially if this one's World War II for Call of Duty. Like you said, I typically buy every Call of Duty that comes out each year. And I typically play them for the whole year cycle. There's only been 1, 2, 3 where I haven't. This one, the Black Ops Cold War, which I stopped playing like a month after it came out, Advanced Warfare, and Infinite Warfare. Those 3 games, and World War II, so 4. But those 4 games, I kind of like stopped playing them after, whether it be a month to 3 months, 4 months. I kind of stopped playing them at a certain point in time. Didn't hit most of their full life cycle. This Call of Duty, I mean, I'll have to see what they show. I purely because I've always played the games in the franchise, I probably would end up buying it and, at least play the multiplayer, give things a shot and see how I like it. But I wouldn't be surprised if I said either A, I'm not going to get it, or B, play for like a few weeks and then just bounce out.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat as you. I might pick it up. No, I'm not picking up. I can't do another World War like setting game. I can't.
You can't. But what if Brigitte from Overwatch pops up?
Then maybe I'll pick it up.
Maybe.
Pick it up. Although I'm more of a diva person now.
Ooh, okay. What if Diva pops in with her back?
Yeah, Diva is definitely my main. Okay, I think that's going to wrap up for the Call of Duty stuff. So now we are going to move on to what we've been playing this week. Tyler, I'll throw over to you first, since I imagine you have similar things to say than last week.
Yeah, I don't have really too much to say new this week. Kingdom Hearts 2, I am about to be done with the game. The next thing I have to do is go to Twilight Town for the second time at the end of the game. So I'm going to do that. I'm finishing that game either today or tomorrow. Because again, my whole personal project that I'm working on is related to Kingdom Hearts 2. So the project's needs to be done tomorrow. So the game is getting done today or tomorrow. The project's going to be done tonight though, for sure. Or tomorrow morning. And then afterwards, I will just finish out Kingdom Hearts 2 on its 15th anniversary. So after this episode, you don't have to hear me talk about Kingdom Hearts 2 anymore, guys. Maybe not. Probably. We'll see. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. Final Fantasy X, still going through with that one. My girlfriend and I, we played it some last night. We are at Macalania. We just finished that temple, finished the fight against Seymour there. I hate him. I hate that man with a passion. For people who played the game know, he pops up multiple times throughout the game. He's one of the main antagonists. And are you planning on playing Final Fantasy X at any point in time, Keiran?
Probably not. Not really the biggest Final Fantasy fan.
Okay, so let me explain this. Spoilers for anyone who has not played Final Fantasy X or plans to play it. Yeah. So he's one of the main antagonists in the game. This point in the game, you go into the temples on this pilgrimage for Yuna. That's deep story stuff. I'm not getting too deep into the history of why and all like that. So you get to this temple and you have to fight him because you find out that he's actually crazy. He's crazy. He's doing some really messed up stuff. So you fight him, and during you kill him and everything like that. And then he pops up multiple other times in the game because in Final Fantasy X's world, when people die, if the summoner does not send them to like the afterlife, they stay alive as a spirit, basically, as essentially a spirit that can still interact and do things in the real world. So because you don't, after you kill him this first time, you don't get the chance to send him. So because that he pops up more times throughout the game. Every time he pops up, it's very annoying. Like the second time you fight him, which was the second time you fight him, when I played the game the first time, I was playing it alongside my girlfriend. She was walking me through it. And he did this move that she had never seen because normally she's like super strong and kills him real quickly. And he killed me, and I was just like, "What the heck is this?" And then you fight him again at the end of the game. That fight's actually a bit easier, but this fight here at the start, not the start, but the very first time you fight him, you get to it's actually a pretty easy fight for the most part. But then after a certain stage in the fight, he starts doing this move. He starts doing multicast spells where he does two spells on two people in your party, right? And you have 3 people out at any given time. Here's the thing. His spells do a lot of damage. They can basically take out half your health in one hit. So he killed me once because that's the only thing he does. Every time it's his turn, he does that. So he basically, once he starts doing this, you have to kill him within 2 turns or else you're going to die. Or else you're going to lose the fight, basically. And he killed me the first time, and I was annoyed. I was very annoyed, especially more so because I had it saved for like 20 minutes, so I had to do a bunch of stuff over again. So I was like annoyed by that. But then I redid the fight, and he almost did it again. And I was like, I hate you, just die. And I killed him, finished him. I was very annoyed, but we finished that. So still, I'm looking forward to finishing the game, playing it some more. I do like this game a lot. It's my second time playing it, but it's been a fun time. And then Maquette, I finished earlier this week. I only had like half an hour left to do in the game after we talked last time. Again, this is a very fun game. It's very short. Like I said before, I didn't realize that my game clock was only like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. This can be beaten in 2 to 3 hours if you do it in one sitting. I just did it in multiple sittings because of time and stuff. But yeah, it was a fun game. Very creative with the puzzles. I liked how creative you had to get and how like you had to think outside the box to make certain things work and all. Like there was one puzzle where you had to get inside a building, right? And like the way the game is you start off in your one center area. In the center of that spot, it's a maquette. It's a diorama it's a smaller version of the area you're in. So whatever's normal size in your area, if you place it in the small version, it becomes big in the normal size version. Okay. And if you take something out of the small version and place it in the normal size, it becomes normal size. Now, when you look back at the smaller version, you can take it. It's now smaller in the small version. So you can take the small version out, place it in the normal world, and it'll be smaller for you to use.
Okay.
It's difficult. It's a difficult concept to understand and just by words. If you visualize it, if you actually play the game and see it, then you understand.
Yeah.
So there was one part where I had to get inside a building, and I had to take a staircase and have it be normal size in my world, but make it place the normal size one inside the smaller version to make it huge in my world. So I did that, and then I had to go outside of my normal size world into like the bigger size world that's like outside. basically like picture in picture in picture, like a Russian doll in a sense.
Okay, yeah.
So
okay,
like there's a smaller version and the bigger version. So I had to kind of do that. I had to go to the bigger version outside my normal size world to go to the staircase and then climb up this wood to get onto like this ledge that was under the building, and then climb on the banister of the staircase to get inside the actual building I need to get inside of. It sounded very complex. I understand. I'm looking at your face. You're like,
no, I'm following so far.
You're like, I think I get it, but it's like things like puzzles like that. It sounds very simple. When you know the solution, it sounds simple, but when you don't know the solution, you're like, how do I get in there? How do I do what I need to do? I know where I have to go, but what do I do to get to it? So yeah, I like this game a lot. It was a lot of fun, and the story was nice, emotional. Had me definitely emotionally invested in the relationship that the two characters had. It's a fun game. I deleted it as soon as I was done. There are trophies you could do for like speed running the levels, but I'm not gonna go back. It was fun. It was a nice time. Definitely download it or add it to your library if you're on PlayStation Plus, because it's free this month.
Awesome. I haven't been playing a whole lot this week. I played Skyrim again. Actually, I've started a new playthrough in Skyrim. Nice. Since they added the FPS boost to it, I wanted to go and see what it was like, so I installed it through Game Pass. The Series X is making this game just look better than I remember it being. I haven't played this game probably in 6 years. So it definitely looks better than I remember it, and the FPS boost definitely helps. I've been turning it off and on at points and been like looking around, and it you can tell it's so much smoother with the FPS boost on. It's really, really cool. I'm having a lot of fun playing Skyrim again.
I'm actually gonna go back to it sometime soon, especially since there's a mod that allows you to get 60 FPS on the PS5. Definitely gonna do that soon. Yeah, no, it's
definitely a good time. I'm having a lot of fun playing it. So I'm sure that's gonna pop up on my list at some point again. Also been playing Destiny 2. I'm finally getting around to finishing Beyond Light. I'm most of the way through it, I think. I don't know where I am overall in the story, but from contextual cues I've gotten, I think I'm towards the end of the story for Beyond Light. So I'm excited to finish that. I just love playing Destiny 2. It's probably one of my favorite first-person shooters ever, if not. Well, I don't know. It's definitely not my favorite first-person shooter ever, but it's definitely up there. So I'm having a lot of fun playing that. I really, really like the new Stasis subclass. I haven't gotten it fully unlocked yet. I only get it at certain points during the story, but I really, really want to unlock it because I will definitely use that instead of I used the Void subclass just now. So I will definitely be unlocking that Stasis subclass as soon as possible.
Nice. It always looked super cool.
Yeah, no, it's so much fun to play with. It's so much fun. And then finally, I've played a fair amount of Star Wars Squadrons this week. I think I've played maybe 10 or 11 hours of it. I don't know how long the game is, but I have given up playing that game at least for now, purely because there is one part in one mission that is so unfair that I can't do it, right? So you're playing in a TIE bomber and you have to go and destroy convoy like ships, right? They're being protected by New Republic corvettes. And you cannot get close enough for your main lasers to fire. It's still out of range. Your rockets fire once every like 30 seconds and you have no shields. And the enemy corvettes, every single attack that they put forward hits you. You can't even evasively maneuvering about the entire map. I can't stop them locking on or them hitting me, or I can't time it. This last one's my fault. I can't time it closely enough to deploy the countermeasures for the rockets so they don't hit me. But it's so unfair in that fight that I can't get close enough without being pounded by lasers to destroy the ships. I can't get close enough to fire my main damage source at them. I've given up with that level for just now. I'll go back to it at some point. Just right now, I refuse to play more of that game.
I understand that frustration. That is definitely super annoying. You got it though. You got it. Next time.
I can totally do it. I reckon I've done it like 30 times so far, but I'll try another 30 and see if I can get through it. But yeah, that's everything I've been playing this week. I've had a lot of fun. Honestly, I think Skyrim is definitely my favorite. I've been having a lot of fun going back to replay Skyrim again.
Nice. Yeah, no, next week I will be going back to Persona 5 Strikers. So
nice.
You can look forward to me talking about that some next week on the show.
And that is going to bring us to our question of the episode this week, which is, why do we think in 2021 there is still such a strong case for buying games physically instead of going all digital? In addition, do we think the services like Game Pass and PlayStation Now will slowly kill off physical games? This is tied to a report earlier this week from The Gamer saying that the PS3, Vita, and PSP stores are to be closed permanently in a few months. Reading from the article written by Kirk McKean saying, quote, "The PS3, PS Vita, and PlayStation Portable stores aren't long for this world. According to a source familiar with the situation, verified by The Gamer, the stores are due to be closed down from July. This announcement is planned for the end of this month." End quote. So, I mean, it's very unfortunate those stores are being shut down. I don't know how many people are still using those stores, but I'm very positive there are still a few. So it just sucks that those stores are being closed down and that you just won't be able to buy games for them anymore unless you buy like used physical games. But my question this week was, why do we think there is still such a strong case for buying games physically? Tyler, I'll throw it to you first because I'm very interested to hear your answer.
Okay. Before I give my answer, apologies if you hear a vacuum in the background.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. Is it loud?
No, it's not bad.
Okay, well, she just turned it off right now. I don't know if she turned it off for good or not. But yeah, that was a vacuum you heard. You might hear it a little bit more in the next, I don't know how long. So I don't know if you may know already. I'm a physical guy. I'm a physical games guy till the day I die. And I only get games digitally if either A, it's only available digitally, or B, if it's a game that I know it's a one and done and I have no intentions of ever coming back and playing it again. So like a game like Doom 2016, I bought that one digitally because I know for a fact I just wanted to play it.
Yeah.
I don't care about, possibly doing it in the future. It doesn't matter to me. A game like Nier Automata, I have that one digitally just because it was on sale. I'm sure I'll probably like it, but I probably won't be too invested in it. I'm like, oh man, I wish I had it physically. Stuff like that. But other than that, I choose to get all my games physically because, I mean, one, I know then I own the game. I have it. It is mine. And yeah, games have updates that come out now over time and everything like that. But for the vast majority, you don't need the update to actually play the game. So like, even if I don't have internet, I can still just pop in the game. It can install on the system and I'm good.
Yeah.
I can play it if I want to. If my internet's out and I only have digital games, then I'm kind of out of luck. I'm just like, well, I can't download the game, so it is what it is. Or we end up in a Scott Pilgrim situation where if a game is completely delisted and you can't buy it anymore at all, period, then it's like, well, I guess I can't play that game again, or like even a silent, like a PT situation where you have people who have their consoles with PT on it, and like those consoles go for money. They go for a lot of money because you can't download it again. It's not on the store. You can't download it. And I think there's like, the vacuum's back on. I think there's like a backdoor secret type of way for you to do it, but it requires steps. There's no easy way to just be like, all right, I originally had downloaded. Let me download it again. Because I had it on my PS4. It's not on there anymore, but you go on my library, it's there, but I can't download it. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm always all physical. But I think in 2021, there is more of a case, actually, I think in 2021 for people to buy games digitally than physically. And I think the reason being that so many games require updates and everything like that. And it's just so much easier to buy games digitally than it is physically. I mean, you look at sales numbers. I don't know them off the top of my head, but PlayStation. I know on PlayStation they saw a lot of digital sales for their games.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we have digital consoles now. That's why we have the option, because they know digital sales for games are where a lot of people are buying games now. It just makes sense. It's easier. It's more convenient. You don't have to have all the boxes built up. That's why we have features on our consoles like Quick Resume, where you just bounce between games, and with that you have all the games stored in like the memory and everything like that. That's why we have on the PS5, you have the card system where you can easily bounce into a game without having to worry about anything. Those features are nice. Those features are built for digital games. They're not built for like a physical game, because like I can only take advantage of the activity of the card system on my PS5 with my digital games. I can't really do it with my physical games because I still need the disc in the system.
Yeah.
So like if I'm like, oh, let me play some Miles Morales, let me go do this side mission. Oh, I can't just do the card for it because I got to pop the disc in first. It's not gonna let me do it. You know what I mean? So like we've seen digital games influence the very design of our consoles and the features that are in them.
Yeah.
So I think there's a way stronger case for buying them digitally than physically. I mean, you can preload a game digitally weeks or days prior to it coming out, so that literally at midnight you just start it up. Physically, you have to hope you get the disc early, and if you don't get the disc early, then you got to go to the store that day, and then pop it in your system, and then it installs and stuff. So maybe by then you're playing it prior to midnight launch, but even still, you get what I mean. You don't have
I'm with you.
Prior thing and all like that. But the whole thing with Sony closing the PS3, Vita, and PSP stores then shows the case of, hey, this is why physical is better. Because if they close these stores down and you can't buy these games anywhere else, and you can't download them, even if you've already bought them, then the only way you can play them is if you have them physically somewhere or digitally on your hard drive. And I think what makes the PS3, Vita, and PSP thing so bad is the fact that there is no backwards compatibility support for any of those games anywhere.
No.
PS3 does not have backwards compatibility support on PS4 or PS5. Yes, there is PS Now, but that is streaming. It's very different. It's not straight up pop my disc into the system and I can play it, or I can re-download or purchase PS3 games off the PS5 PlayStation Store. It's not the same. So like those games, and I mean, PS3 has the really infamously complicated architecture. So it's like a bit understandable why there has not been backwards compatibility for it. But even still, that like it sucks because for that reason. The Vita is a criminally underrated system. I never bought it because price of the console. I mean, the price of the handheld and then the price of those memory cards. Those memory cards are crazy overpriced. So I never bought one. But the Vita has a lot of great games on it, and not gonna be able to buy those games anymore. And from what I've read, buying physical Vita games is a chore because they're super expensive.
Yeah.
And then I guess like the PSP is way older, but I mean the same logic applies still.
Yeah.
We can't get those games anywhere else. So, and the only way to get them is physical. So, once these stores are closed, the physical prices are going to rise up real quickly from people selling them online. I'm sure they're even doing it now. That's why. That's what I think that physical is still always the way to go, but digital has its conveniences, and there's a very strong case for both ends of the spectrum. But at the end of the day, at least in regards to the whole Sony thing, we need a better way about preserving games. Because then as long as we can preserve games for, and make sure that they're able to be played generations after they've originally released and all, then it doesn't matter how you buy your game. It doesn't matter what happens, if it's physical or digital. As long as the game is preserved and there is a guarantee that if you buy it, no matter how you buy it, you will be able to play it at some point in time in the future whenever you want to, then I think, people will care less where they buy their games. I know I would care less. I would probably buy digitally way more.
Yeah.
Assuming internet issues weren't a thing, I'll probably do digital way more. But I like to have that guarantee that I have it in my hand. I know I can play it whenever I want to. Yeah, no,
I'm with you. I'm I prefer physical. I'm not against digital, but I definitely prefer physical for a couple of reasons. One, like you say, I don't have to install any updates. I can just pop the game in my system and play it whenever. Two, you're usually cheaper buying games physically than you are digitally, like at least in the UK anyway.
Because of used game sales, there is no used with digital.
Yeah. Also, more the fact that like when a new game comes out, I'm £60 to buy it on the Xbox store, where I could be £45 or £50 to buy it physically. So, I mean, that's what I did with Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Watch Dogs Legion when I bought those for my Series X. Like, both of those were £60 to buy on Xbox, but they were only, I think I got Watch Dogs Legion for 45 and then Valhalla for 50. So I like save £15 just buying them physically instead of digitally. So there's that. The two arguments I have for digital is one, Game Pass, like one service, you pay £11 a month and you get access to like over 100 games. Absolutely, fair enough. Go digital. Secondly, when I'm buying games with my friend, we do the my home Xbox is set to his home Xbox, so that any games that I buy on my Xbox, he also gets. And we very often, game sharing basically. And we very often split the cost of games. Like the one that comes to mind is we split the cost of the like biggest edition you could buy of Injustice 2, where I think it was like £85 to buy it on Xbox. So I think we both paid like $42.50 or something. Instead, which is still cheaper than both of us buying like the standard edition separately, which would have been £60 to buy it on Xbox. That's one of the big arguments I have for digitally is you can basically get 2 copies of the game for the price of one if you game share with your friend. But no, I agree. I still think that physical is the way to go because one, it's cheaper. Two, you never really own the game because even if you just buy a disc, then you still only have like a physical license for the game. You don't own the game, but you own the game more than you do if you buy it digitally. So there is the argument for that as well. But I do think that in the next few years, physical is going to be phased out. At some point, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon in the next few years. I think 3 to 4 years, then maybe. But
whoa, so you're saying that next generation is not going to be physical?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so because digital sales are going up more and more now. We are seeing the introduction of digital consoles now, and when you buy a game digitally, you cut out. Like, more of that money goes towards the platform holder, and more of that money goes towards the developer, more of that money goes towards the publisher. You are cutting out the expense of, like, somewhere like GameStop or Game. You are cutting out that expense. So I think the next generation, you are, if not entirely phased out, very, very rare. I don't see that being the case. I think next generation, we will still have physical. We will still have digital. I think that we'll continue to see stronger emphasis placed on digital, like how a lot of times now you'll see digital deluxe editions that are not available physically at all. I think we'll see that. I don't think that we'll see physical, like no physical at all next generation. Now, if you're talking 2 generations from now, it's a different story. And again, I think it all comes down really to internet infrastructure. You cannot have digital only consoles if the internet infrastructure is not there to support it. You just can't, because data caps, internet availability in different countries or just regions of countries and all like that. These are all things that companies take into account. Sony and Microsoft, Nintendo. These are that they all take into account. And if they do digital only consoles next generation, I would not be surprised if a lot of people didn't buy them because they just were not able to take advantage of them. Yeah. That's why that's like assuming next generation is what? This one started 2020. Next gen starts 2027, right? Yeah. Technology moves fast.
No one's denying that. I just don't think that we be at the place that we need to be for digital only consoles to be the norm 7 years from now. Now, 15 years from now, I can see that being a possibility. I can see it happening then, because like we're moving towards the digital future. Like, you know, services like Game Pass and PS Now and xCloud and everything like that, they're moving in that direction. And you know, we have the other question here: do we think that those services will slowly kill off physical games? I think I would like to think that physical will always be around. I would like to think that it'll always be around, at the very least as an option for people who don't have internet, who don't have the best internet, who just preferred having the physical game in their hands. But I would not be surprised, unfortunately, if physical games just go away entirely and we don't have physical games anymore. Everything is downloaded or streamed and stuff. That's a sad future I don't want to have happen at all. It's a very sad future, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is something that happens, and I could see it happening. It's just, I do not think it's going to happen before the next generation. I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen before the next generation. And I think next generation, we might start seeing the greater push towards that happening for the following generation.
Yeah, no, I agree with you that the global internet infrastructure needs to be better before physical is phased out, before you can only get digital games. But with I also agree with you. I don't think that's happening in the next like decade plus. I think in like maybe 10 to 15 years, then maybe we might be there, but I don't know. But I mean, even with things like xCloud, yes, the internet's the global internet infrastructure needs to be better for it, but I think it will be improved in like the next 7 or 8 years. I think it will be in a much better place than it is now. I just don't know if it's going to be fully there for what that would require. But I do think that there is going to be, like I say, if not physical entirely phased out, an extremely heavy focus on going digital. Whether that be, you know, the digital console is more powerful than the physical console, or the digital console is significantly cheaper than the physical console. Like it all depends on what happens in the next 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, definitely.
But I believe that will close out this week's episode of the Play to Win podcast, not the Games and Gaming podcast.
I said it in my head a couple times this episode at the beginning, and just now, just like, no, that's not it. That's not it.
Yeah, no, the Play to Win podcast. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Play to Win Game. You can also find us on YouTube if you if you head over to the link tree. Wait, this is on YouTube. Why am I telling people to find the YouTube channel?
Find us on YouTube by going to the link.
Find us on YouTube by leaving YouTube and then returning to you. No. While you're on YouTube watching the podcast, make sure you hit the subscribe button and tick the notification bell, because that way you will get reminded and notified when new videos go live. Like I said previously, videos go live every Monday for the podcast, Friday for a video at 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT. Tyler, where can people find you?
Find me over on Twitter at Tyler Miller 2496. I tweet about a lot of funny stuff and things like that over there. Be sure to follow me. And like I said, the personal project I'm working on is a little written piece I'm doing about Kingdom Hearts 2 and just its importance to me for its 15th anniversary and how important it's been to me over the past 15 years. So that'll be live tomorrow, Sunday. It'll be live when this episode goes up. So follow me so that you can go ahead and see that tweet, and there'll be a link to the whole piece I'm writing about for it on my blog. I'm going to be like promoting the mess out of that over the next like week or so, because I there's a lot more for me to do with it, but I'm liking the direction I'm going in with it. I like what I've done with it so far. It's really intimate, personal piece. So give it a read, give me a follow, talk to me over there on Twitter and stuff.
So question, is the personal project about Kingdom Hearts the thing that you were asking for luck for?
No, it's not that at all. I'm still waiting on that.
Okay. Just check. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at badlynet, BADLYNET, all one word. I tweet some funny stuff. I'm very, very proud of my tweet at Micro Center this morning. I'm very proud of that.
What was it? I didn't see it.
It's basically I rewrote the Wellerman, which is like the sea shanty that's going around just now. I rewrote the first verse and chorus to that to make it like a Micro Center themed version. I'm very proud of it.
Oh my gosh.
So if you want to see that, head over to my Twitter. It's at badlynet. And also remember to share the Play to Win podcast with anyone who you think would enjoy the show, and subscribe on your favorite podcast listening platform, as the podcast is still available in audio form, as well as subscribe on YouTube. Thank you all very much for watching, and we will see you all next week.